Good evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to our podcast. This is Inches and Cubes, episode 23. Today, we have some very special guests for you. But as always, we are a Warhammer 40k podcast. Don't know how many listeners we have, so we're not the Warhammer 40k podcast.
I don't think we'll ever be the...
I haven't introduced you yet. Sit tight. We'll introduce the characters in a moment. And welcome back after that awesome intro music. Today, as always, not as always, we got 2/3 of our as always crew. It's me, Point and Click Nick. It's
me, Paul Mr. Fist Fowler.
And apparently, I have to go next. Val Heffelfinger.
the
Val Heffelfinger.
No, the Butcher of Baskin Robbins.
The Butcher of Baskin Robbins.
The man comes with a built-in alias. Like, do we need to give him a nickname?
Yes.
Let's obscure it even more.
And me, who was given my nickname, not by choice, Connor the Hair Collie.
Yeah, no, that was inflicted on you. You can change your nickname through sheer tyranny
Too
of
lazy
will.
at this point.
Hair the Connor that bit ya.
So today we're going to be talking...
Always better in the morning.
You done interrupting me?
You barely started.
This is
Just getting going.
So today, our topic is over-compensating. We're talking about comp. Talking about 8th edition comp. Val
Yes.
Simon, helped us design a comp system for Hogtown 40k that leans towards fixing some of the issues in 8th edition. Issues? Yeah, let's go with issues. And,
Matters of taste.
Matters of taste. To bring it more in line with what our Hogtown members are looking for from a tournament. So we're going to be talking about that. But first... doing a Barnyard Belgian IPA from Indie Ale House. This traditional bitter IPA meets a funky Belgian yeast. A Star is Born. Like the best food fusions, it defies description but works amazingly well. Bitter, fruity, complex, and fun to drink. That was easy.
Yeah, because...
Compared to the other two.
Yeah, what you may have heard was the soft moan of a bottle being opened, as opposed to the strangulation that Nick usually imparts
If
on
you
them.
uncork your beer, you are a douche.
Listen, I didn't cork it. I just bought it. This isn't my beer. I just paid for it and I want to drink it.
I apologize.
That's okay. Would you like some, though?
I mean, I am a douche.
Yeah, so this is Grendel's Revenge from the Fates and Furies line over at Indie Ale House. And, yeah, there's no copy about it. And I'm fine with that.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
It's also like $13 a bottle.
Yeah, don't...
It's a douche beer, man.
Yeah, it's a douche beer.
That's why I prefer
Raised
Henderson's.
from the Titanic.
I feel like Henderson's is where like a working class person goes, and Indie Ale House is where you want to go and spend $5 on a bottle of beer.
Pretty sure most people go to the beer store.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I had planned to do, but then this was in my fridge and my roommate was talking to me and I was like, I can't with you.
What is this?
Thank you, sir.
This is,
You can take a swig.
Grendel's Revenge. No, you're not drinking out of the bottle.
Oh yeah, I'm sick. Two of us are sick.
Fascinating.
I just need a bit. Just a bit.
Yeah, take a sip of that. What is it?
Ooh.
What's happening there?
I don't even know.
It's
Yeah.
sweet. It's
Ooh, that's good.
it's kind of citrusy.
Effervescent. It's very bubbly.
It's a good word.
It's like a Groot. It's Grute. That's the type of beer. Guys, read a book. Someone take this podcast away from me, Nick.
So
Someone who
we're
listens
gonna-
to the beer part will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best part, in my
It's the
opinion.
only thing we know we're talking about.
So we're gonna start with our hobby desk as always. Connor's gonna lead us off.
Oh boy. When's the last time I was here? Like months ago. I finished my Valen Cal Chapter Master model. So he was my tester model for the Sons of Medusa, which I probably shouldn't have done. But he turned out really, really good. It's just like that super lime green. Super fun to paint. Way different from dark black Iron Hands, so it's cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, you did a really good job on the conversion. You did the green pops. And
Yeah.
And the weathering. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. I'm like up in the game.
Yeah.
I hate that character so much.
I was like, he's so good, I have to spend a lot of time painting him. So at least it'll look good when he's kicking your ass.
The word you're looking for, Simon's still trying to describe the beer. The word you're looking for is funky. It's
I thought it was Groot.
yeah, no, but like that taste, that's a funk.
Hmm.
This is a weird one. This is called Grendel's Revenge. So it's a one-armed monster descended from Cain. That's
Is that what Grendel was?
depending on what translation you have.
Okay.
Is this a Beowulf thing?
Yeah.
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 Because I thought
Cool.
he was like Beowulf's son.
No, that's
Sounds
the
like a troll to me.
Zemeckis version with Angelina Jolie.
Paul, what are you working on? Are you done?
Yeah, well, I totally hijacked that.
Yeah.
Apologize.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I worked on my Cataphracti for the Waterloo Heresy tournament that we're going to be going to.
Talk about talk about what you guys did last night.
Oh yeah, so my hobby desk. Last night at Sword and Board, we did
Where?
Sword and Board is a Brockenblur. Yeah, we just did like a back to basics sort of painting, modeling forum, so people that wanted to could come out and just ask questions and have stuff done, and we could show them or explain, or and like 4 or 5 people came out.
It was 5 of us.
Yeah, it was 5 of us, so it wasn't a huge turnout, but
We had a brand new guy come out though.
yeah, that was honestly that
Whoa.
was my favorite part. Like someone who's like, "Hey, can you show me how to clip stuff off of sprues?" And
Full-grown person?
yeah, like a man.
And had they had any contact with this before? Like,
They
I
played
guess he's on the Facebook group.
yeah, he's on the Facebook group and like played Infinity, but
okay, so tabletop miniatures. All right.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I think like he was just like these multi-part kits. They're like a lot different than what I'm used to, so I figured I'd come out, and we were just like, yeah, this is how to deal with plastics and
Infinity still has a lot of pewter stuff too, right?
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so like just clean mold lines and basic hobby stuff. So cool,
Cool.
cool to have.
Yeah,
You got
and that was fun. While I was there, I worked on my aggressors. I just started doing black on them just because I need to start them. And now that I got the ball rolling on them, I can't wait to get them finished. And then I also managed to get 2 lieutenants and a captain finished. I got the bases all done. I got the lieutenants. They're just armed with, all 3 of them are armed with chainswords and bolters.
I remember getting in combat with you. I'm like, what are they armed with?
I was like,
Chainsword?
Absolutely nothing. 4 attacks.
Oh, because
You
you
do a
charged
helmet.
into a squad of cultists, and I was like, oh no, the cultists are dead. I was
like-
like, haha, 6 ups.
yeah, no.
You can do Teeth of Terra or whatever.
Well, I run the Primarch's Wrath because I like a Strength 5 2 damage bolter.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
I really like the way the Ultramarine ones look with like the white and the red helmets. That
You
might be the other
kind of
one.
did that on your guys.
Yeah, so what I did is one guy's bareheaded and the other has a Mark III mask that I did a metallic plate
Okay.
on the mask. So I couldn't get the 2 white stripes and the red stripe. So I did that pattern on the shoulder pad and
Cool.
put the lieutenant badge over top of that. And it looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah, just that like little color detail looks
Yeah.
good.
You've made a hard turn from your staunch position on lieutenant and lieutenant a
Uh,
couple
you-
months ago.
well, I like calling them Louis.
It's like the middle ground.
Yeah.
Lefties are pretty funny. Got the lefties here. The lefties gonna punch in the face.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. It will depends on where advertising dollars come from.
I gotta pay attention on the GW stream and see what they say.
Yeah,
It's a British company.
I know you'd think lieutenant.
you would think. And then the captain, same old, same old. Except I took a chess piece from the Red Scorpion's Honor Guard kit and cut the stomach off of it, and then took the bottom flaps of a Mark III chest and kind of green stuffed them in so it looks like a very fancy Mark III armor because I just wanted to do that.
And you cut one of those tiny, tiny, tiny little skulls off of a bolter and put it on your lieutenant.
Oh yeah, so
What?
you know, like the
Psycho.
you know the skulls
You
on
need a
the
full time job.
get out of here. You know the skulls on the edge on the side of the bolter. I just shaved that
I know
off,
exactly what you mean.
and I just put a little dab of glue on it, and I stuck it in the middle of the bare Mark III. So it's such a tiny little detail, but on something like a lieutenant, I felt like I could take the time and do it.
Yeah.
He's got like a bionic leg from I think Cromlech. Custom sculpted hair on one of the lieutenants because that's my jam. It's a mohawk, but it's like a floppy, lazy mohawk. Like I can't imagine Space Marines gelling their hair before battle.
I can.
I can't imagine Space Marines with hair aside from Space Wolves. Really,
Yeah.
they're all bald.
I always do my ass bald.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love a mohawk. Like there are inordinate amounts of mohawks in my.
Because the scouts usually they have. I'm trying to think. A couple of
A
them.
lot of the captains have mohawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Praetor Tribune has a mohawk.
That hardcore Marine look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or taxi driver.
Yeah. Bickle. This is Captain.
That's probably sums up
Bickle.
the actual mentality of a Space Marine.
Yeah,
Some
actually,
sort
perfectly.
of a blend between taxi driver and people who actually
Rorschach.
murder.
I like
Yeah.
to think of them more as warrior monks, but sure.
Yeah, well, there's still monks about being warriors, so God only knows how that plays out.
I'm flashing back to the Grey Knights episode. If we could just move on.
Okay.
To you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us what you've been working
So
on?
this is
Whoa.
the hobby desk. This is where we talk about the hobby.
This is the
projects that
hobby
we've made,
desk?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's the same.
And-
Is that what
desk.
it's called?
And paying out money to paint your stuff doesn't count.
Well, what about prepping models that I will then pay him to paint?
Building counts, right?
Yeah,
Right.
building definitely
Yeah,
counts.
yeah. According to the rule, there's nothing in the rules that says he can't do that.
So I'm knobs deep in some orcs. I got the green fever right now,
Maybe.
in a big bad way.
Loving that fungus.
Woo! Just spreading those spores all over the universe.
No, this is.
I almost remember where I was standing when I read I think it was that was Gorka Morka, that piece of fluff changed, and just even as a dumb kid, just being offended by that concept. But anyway.
That the log makes them release battle spores.
Well, just that they are
Mushrooms.
mushrooms.
I think I still have it. It's like the really thin paperback, like 3rd edition codex.
It's Gorka Morka. It was
Yeah.
like a little side game.
Yeah.
just
But
thought it was weird.
even the I think it's 3rd or 4th edition. It has like the diagram
Yeah.
of like a orc
Yeah.
Yeah.
fetus like underground with like mushrooms coming out.
Anyway, a bit of a sidetrack there. Where real orcs come from is a factory in
China.
England, especially the gargantuan squiggoth that I've been working on. And yes, I pronounce it squiggoth. So that's going to be really awesome. I'm kind
Oh,
of
it's not,
prepping.
so it's not the squig, because you were saying it's a squig.
Yeah, it's a
It's a squig.
gargantuan squiggoth.
Okay, because there's a giant squig.
There is a giant. That's a fantasy thing.
That model's awesome.
It is
That model.
super awesome.
Yeah.
I was actually considering it for just a regular squiggoth, but it's that model. The rules for it is more like just like a battle wagon. So
It's got a howdah.
I have those things, so don't need
Chowda.
Howdah.
it. Chowda.
Howda.
Say it again.
But still only counts as one.
So that was mostly just unwrapping, sending it to Adam. But what I'm actually working on myself, going to do it from the ground up, folks. 5 custom mega cannons, which means 25 grots. I've got a deadline of November 11th because I'm going to just show up at Warzone Atlanta, known as the most exclusive Warhammer party in Atlanta. And
With only grots.
with hopefully a half decent list, but no, they sell out. They sold out in like 10 seconds because they give the tickets to people. If you've been before, you have first shot at
okay.
going again. It's advertised heavily on another podcast, but I'm not supposed to talk about those.
We never said you couldn't.
Well, you grumble about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
grumble
obviously.
about
We
it.
grumble about everything. We're
Pretty
not nice people.
No, that's true.
What podcast?
Anyway, forging the narrative or forge the narrative.
Paul,
that's the
bleep
one.
that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, best podcast because I need them to like me because I need a ticket and I'm driving to Atlanta.
Do you think they listen?
Well, they will when I message this to them.
Yeah.
I've actually been on other podcasts now strictly to say that I need a ticket to Warzone Atlanta,
Well, you know
including
what?
chapter
So
10.
you're making your rounds.
These guys are real nice guys, and if they're listening to this, they should help out our friend, Val.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, who's an upstanding individual.
And if you're going to listen to one Warhammer podcast that's not this, but I don't know how you'd be hearing this if you weren't not listening to this, you should also listen to that one.
I listened to it.
How much have you had to drink?
Just that one sip, but this
Yeah.
is some crazy stuff.
Strong group, man.
And just to round it all out, because I really want all of my weird boys to look the same, I have a bunch of different weird boys.
Is that us?
Yeah, you're my weird boys. The weird boys. And I got one, my favorite one. He's so small, but he's just like he's an orc shaman from the fantasy range, and he's just sort of in like a shawl holding a huge bone. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
He is the size of a grot now. Like he is so small, but I can't not get. So I just got him a really big resin base.
Sweet.
And that's how we're gonna deal with that.
You know
That's
what?
my super fascinating hobby program.
Nicholas?
I haven't done much. I magnetized Contemptor Dreadnought so I can run them as 2 last cannons for our upcoming Horus Heresy event.
Did you paint the silver on your demon prince?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Demon Prince is
Hey!
done. He's done. He needs.
Where is he?
He needs to be sealed.
Yeah, go get him.
That's all.
Go get him. It takes the look.
All right.
And while Nick's doing that, does anyone want to get into the... What are we calling this segment now?
General's armchair.
Yeah. So, General's Armchair. Connor, you want to talk about the games you played? Or one of the games you played?
You're all just looking at my Demon Prince critiquing it.
It looks good.
Man,
great.
That's a great
So you're
idea.
gonna throw a little matte finish on there, bring the gloss down, or you want him to look gooey?
I'm going to gloss him first.
Okay.
He's metal. He's going to chip like hell.
Yeah.
So I'm going to gloss him first. I know he's already super glossy.
It's the wash.
What's the gloss? Is that just the actual gloss? It's just gloss.
Yeah, I know that there's not all gloss on him now. Then I also use a UV archival spray.
Oh.
Yeah, to like really protect the models from chipping, and then I do the matte spray afterwards, and then I might go back with some art coat on because I
Jeez.
kind of like how shiny the wings are.
I like the helmet shiny too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just looks kind of glisteny, you know?
It's just
It's- yeah, 'cause it's
sweaty.
It's a good look.
so I did that to my knight, right? So all of the armor plates on my knight, I didn't matte coat because I like the glistening look. For more demony stuff. I like
Yeah.
the glistening, so I might keep it on certain parts, but like the flesh and stuff, I'll
Oh,
drop
it's
down.
so gross. Just imagine, like, clammy metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the guy in the mosh pit that took his shirt off and nobody wants to touch him.
Also, he's Slaneshi, so
that
he
guy.
should look really lubed up.
Yeah, that's true. He's ready for anything.
He's good to go.
He's good to go.
Slip and slide time.
Yeah. I'm not actually terribly impressed with how he performs in games, but I think he's more of like a distraction kind of effects. He's only 185 points.
Well, he's
Because now that we're talking about...
more of a demon prince.
Yes. Distraction
Technically.
kind of effects is a meme.
Well acquainted with the term.
How do you perform then? Do you want to talk about games?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You tell
so
us your game.
I played... Oh god, this is a funny story. So we've had our ongoing league. Looked like he was crouched over looking for something.
Yes.
Ongoing league is now finished, and it's a tie.
What?
Between?
Nick and Nick.
It's
It finished Nick and Nick.
a
There's
Nick and Nick finish?
So...
There's a
Neck
joke there.
and neck?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but the problem is both words are the jokes. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so we finished the league, and Nick Gralowitz. We asked him on Saturday night.
Yeah, but we were also drunk.
Gralowitz.
Maybe? I don't know.
That doesn't matter.
Took a shot.
Tied across everything. So we each lost a game, but we had perfect sportsmanship and perfect painting scores, and that was the two top players were me and him. And so instead of being like, oh, we're going to do a random tie break, I think we talked about this in the podcast before. So we're going to play a game. He brought his Space Wolves. It was a terrifying list. He put it down. It was a Land Raider, a Leviathan Dreadnought, a Dorito Dreadnought. It was a Leviathan with 2 storm cannons.
Yep.
Obviously.
What kind of Land Raider? Just a guy?
Crusader.
Oh, okay.
Then he uses a Contemptor Dreadnought as a proxy for Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and he's
Yeah.
custom sculpted the claws.
He was telling me about it on
With-
Tuesday.
10 Terminators, 5 Devastators, Najal Stormcaller, and a Wolfguard Battle Leader. And oh boy,
I saw the picture of the list. It's
Yeah.
like so tiny.
it was tiny, which was good for me.
Now, I've heard this before, but can we agree that it's probably Njals? Or
I was gonna
Njal?
say, I'm pretty sure the J is.
Yeah, probably.
It's the Yankees
Yeah.
always here do that.
Yeah.
I also heard Americans calling a Stampa a stomper today.
Nope.
Nope, it's an A.
Yeah. Anyway,
The British would call it a Stompa.
a Stampa?
But so we played just a normal Eternal War mission. I think it was retrieval. So 4 objectives. And yeah, had an absolute blast. We came down. I think I had a lot of stuff left on the board, but it wasn't until the last turn. I didn't want to move my infantry up because he kept his Leviathan alive for the longest time. And like, you go anywhere near a dual storm cannon Leviathan with anything, it's just dead.
Yep.
So I was like,
I experienced that on
I was
Saturday.
backing stuff off, and I held one objective. I had 1 squad of Noise Marines left, a squad of Havocs, the Fire Raptor, my Lord, my Source. Okay, so first turn, he actually ended up blowing up my Rhino with the Dorito, which then exploded. Did 3 damage. Did 3 damage to my Sorcerer, 3 damage to my Lord. Killed 3 Noise Marines. 3 cultists and killed 2 noise marines.
So you rolled only 5s and 6s.
Yeah.
For everything.
It was awful.
Boy.
And then the first psychic power my sorcerer goes to cast, paralysis blows up and did more damage to everybody around him.
So you're off to a good start.
I was off to a great start.
You
so-
gotta get better at rolling dice.
Yeah, my Demon Prince charged in there. I guess in that game my Demon Prince did okay. Killed his Wolfguard battle leader. The Helldrake tied up his Dorito and the Leviathan because I piled.
It has no fist, so...
Yeah, so I piled into both. So I kept doing that until he was able to finally kill it. I think he killed it with Terminators. He struck the Terminators and killed the Helldrake. That's annoying when you're just like, I piled in, and now
Oh, it's super annoying.
your Dorito and your Leviathan, which are only shooty, can't do anything.
No.
Which is good.
Unless they're Ultramarines.
Yeah.
It's a good way to neutralize a unit, I gotta
Yeah.
say. Like, that's one of the hidden bonuses of your Helldrake.
Yep. And then he
Because
hidden Jaw behind a crate on the objective, and are you hungry?
This beer apparently is singing.
I hope the mic picked that up.
Me too.
And we ended end of turn 6. Game ended normally. He had Najal on an objective. I had a squad of noise marines on one objective, and the game was over. He had First Blood. I had Slay the Warlord, and neither of us had Linebreaker.
Nick and Nick.
And we were like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I'm hungover. I don't want to play another game."
So this was. So I was sorry. I was getting some Kleenex.
You're getting toilet
I
paper.
got some TP. However, not for my
Same,
nose. Regardless, so this was a tiebreaker for your league.
Yes.
This is the ultimate conclusion.
Yeah.
And you were about to go into double OT.
Yeah.
And you tipped your cap and said good game.
Yeah, we split the prize.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Neither
right.
of us wanted to play another game.
I get it.
Definition of Hogtown.
You look appalled.
No, I get it. I get it.
We were both
It
like
was a pretty casual league.
he came to the bar
Leagues are
Saturday
always
night too, so we were both kind of in rough shape Saturday
It's fine.
Sunday morning. And we were both like, "No, we're
Dig deep.
Yeah, leave it all on the field.
You know?
Speaking of Nick, he was the guy that I played for
Nick
my
G.
Nick G.
Nick's here."
Yeah, your Nick, whatever your last name is. And yeah, I played him. It was a very similar list, and I played the list that I've been trying out. I dropped out a few things. He really wanted to practice against a Fire Raptor and just see what it could do. And I ended up taking the day because first turn he didn't prioritize targets the way that you ought to. So he left both the Leviathan and the Fire Raptor 1 wound away from degradation. He should have just said, I'm killing the Fire Raptor or I'm killing the Leviathan, because they were both just as effective in my second turn. And I was able to use the Leviathan, the Land Raider, and the Fire Raptor to blow up his Leviathan and his Dorito. So at that point, it was
That
just...
hurt.
That's so much firepower gone.
Yeah. So it feels good to do to somebody, but like Nick's my friend, so I was like, I'm sorry this has happened this way. But you did.
It does feel good to do that to somebody, doesn't it?
It does. But it's an addictive high, which I can't chase. Not
What
like
is this feeling that you're feeling?
Forbidden pleasure.
Yeah. It's,
Did you then let him shoot your dreadnought? Out of
no,
sequence?
no.
Oh, that's too bad.
We'll talk about that later, how that happened. But no, it was a good game. The aggressors were near my captain, so that's just silly.
And a lieutenant?
No, the lieutenant was...
Oh, okay.
it was only one lieutenant in that list. But it's just so much fun to lay down, like, 12 plus 2d6 shots from each dude. Like, it's
Rerolling ones to hit.
rerolling
Sorry,
ones.
what?
Aggressors.
Aggressors, if they don't move, they shoot twice.
Okay.
The bolter version has a frag storm launcher or whatever it is called, which is d6 shots. So
With bolter stats.
with bolter stats.
Okay.
So they fire that twice. They fire their main gun, which is a bolt storm gauntlet, which is 6 shots. So it's 12 plus 2d6 per each.
And he runs a squad of 3.
I run a squad of 3 near a captain, and it's just a bullet hose.
So it's
It's amazing.
it's 36 shots
Plus
66.
You
Yeah.
get a lieutenant around there.
You get a Louis around there,
Yeah.
a lefty, and
Hang a Louis in there.
hang on. and it is hilarious. You throw Storm of Fire as the Warlord trait on your captain, and now all your 6s are getting -1 AP on their wounds. You're playing Imperial Fist because you're me, so they're ignoring cover. It just becomes this.
Well, and if you want, you can use the bolter drill stratagem
You can
on their
use the
36
bolter
shots, and
drill.
all the 6 give you extra shots.
Yep.
Did you do that?
No, I didn't.
I think Paul finally. I think he gets it. I think he's finally got it.
Synergy.
Yeah, like you guys
It's a beautiful thing, man.
saw and that's why I'm building like a 2 autocannon dreadnought list with a tech marine in the back with a conversion beamer, because like no one runs a tech marine.
What does a conversion beamer do now? Sorry, I don't know.
knows?
if it's-
I don't really know.
I don't know what
It used to be really evil, but had like this weird like
It still
range.
has that.
It's like 48 inches.
Depending on the
like-
range, the
it's-
stats change.
Yeah, it's like an inverse melted gun essentially. It's stronger the farther out it is.
I think it's D3 shots. Like, I think it's probably close to a las cannon, but like maybe flat 3 damage or D3 damage. Like
Yeah.
the furthest range.
I mean, we have a way to look it up,
I'm looking.
but I just really want to build that list because I want to convert a
You need more autocannons.
I love autocannons. That is now my favorite weapon.
It's a great profile.
Yep.
Love that 7.
Love a 7.
Well, the Storm of Fire bubble is a 6-inch bubble too. So like all of those can also get the additional -1 on the Strength 7 -1 normal profile.
Yeah.
-3 on the Leviathan. Like, it's crazy.
I know.
You just castle up so hard.
Don't they have a bolter related stratagem?
Yeah, it's bolter drill. So all your 6s that you roll to hit
That's
generate
what that is.
extra hits.
Oh no, they make
Extra.
them exploding hits.
Extra shots.
Extra shots. So they don't explode. You just get to roll that many more hits in addition.
Yeah,
Shots.
yeah.
Where are the
Shots,
rules? I
sorry.
can't find the rules
So-
for the conversion.
So if you
That's
roll the
awesome.
36 bolter shots and get 6 6s, you get 6 more chances to roll hits.
Super sweet.
It is pretty cool. There are other stratagems in other books that you pay 1
Hey,
point.
hey.
We're talking about fists here, though.
Yeah.
We're going deep on fists.
Don't even touch it.
Deep with fists.
Don't stop.
Stopping.
Don't stop.
Don't. All right, I'm gonna say pineapple, so we stop.
I'm crazy, but I can't find the rules for the conversion.
You are
in the
crazy.
Armory of the Space Marines.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, then our Jax was just he managed to blow up the Fire Raptor by throwing his hammer at it.
That's so wicked.
I know.
How does he do that? It's like a shooting profile?
Yeah.
It's like
At some
and
point,
his hammer has a teleporter built into it, so he throws it at people.
So
and
he's Thor.
Yeah, you got it.
at some point, did like an unearthly glow start about your person as this game was going on? Like, did you power up in some way?
I'm different now. Like hammering out lists with like Nick and Connor like throughout the day. I've just been honing my.
That's all we do, by the way.
I've just been honing my edge to like a cutting blade.
It's an improvement.
Yeah, as opposed to trying to cut stuff with the blade of your hand.
And they
I
say
think-
a sharp knife is a safe knife.
That's true.
It's the safest.
I think
one.
that's the most fun way to play the game, though, is like not trying to break it with hyper competitive like assassin character lists, but just making a really tight list
Yeah.
that is able to deal with anything.
Well,
That's what makes the game the most fun.
Connor, that's almost an amazing segue for the rest of the show. But first,
But first, we have a ton more games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, you got.
oh, is that me?
Yeah, you got a great
I want
story.
to find the conversions in there.
There's a team of nerds working on the stats for the conversion beamer. Please stand by. The cell phones drawn.
It's
We're making phone calls to Nottingham. They're working on it for you folks.
you know that scene in Apollo 13.
I was going to say you have more than enough computing power right now to launch Apollo 13.
That would be great.
One phone has enough computing power.
All right, well, I got it right here. It's just 42 inches. Attacks from conversion beamer that target enemies over half its range are resolved at strength 8, AP -1, damage 2. Within half its range, it's heavy D3, strength 6, no AP, 1 damage.
So the strongest is a strength
Where
8.
did you find that?
Yeah, just in battle script.
Oh, that's battle scrap.
Yeah.
That's not.
Don't
That's like
toss off
I mean,
battle scrap.
that's like I found it on Wikipedia. It must be true.
There's an army
That's
of
pretty good.
sweaty
I know it is.
Yeah.
nerds updating those.
It's not bad. It actually complements the profile of the autocannons, anyways. So
Yeah, so I
it's gonna be
just
sitting there.
so that way I'll be chasing the same targets as opposed to like trying to get hopeful. Honestly, I don't mind it because I find like a single last cannon, and you're like, maybe I'll finally like blow something up. No. Last cannons work in bunches.
Yeah, he's ballistic skill 2 as well, which is sick.
I guess, yeah.
He's
The old one, I
he's
don't know
like
why
80
they didn't keep it. It used to be like strength 10. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why
AP
didn't they?
-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't. Usually, like, there
Large
was a
blast.
straight
AP1.
conversion.
Yeah.
Anyway, straight conversion of a conversion beam.
Tell us about the games.
Yeah, my games. Shockingly, and in my opinion, sadly, my last game actually that I had on the books to play was against Mr. Fowler over here, and it didn't work.
I'm a bad man.
No, it's not your fault. I couldn't make it. So, so previous to that was actually a small story tournament out at X Planet in Mississauga, run by my man Lionel, great guy.
Or Lionel. You introduced me to the can wall
The Can Wall.
15 years ago.
That's
You're showing your age there,
Yeah.
long tooth.
hashtag. Anyway, I went there and we had obviously people playing in a tournament.
What?
And pardon my sniffles. And I went 2-0-1, so I took a draw, which was actually my second game. First game was by far the best game. I actually matched up against.
What'd you bring?
Oh, what did I bring? Orcs.
What?
Yeah, I brought Orcs.
Making them work.
Thank you for doing that. I was playing the best list that I think I have models for. So I was playing with, if you guys don't know about them, big tracks are pretty sweet with Super Scorcha. I was converting it last time.
That was a bad surprise.
It was super awesome. Those guys are great, and I was running it with a kill tank because, well, let me throw this out to the crowd here. You got a big, scary-looking tank. It's got a huge, very phallic gun on it.
Mm-hmm.
2d6 shots,
Connor's all about
strength
cows.
10, -4 AP, 2 damage. You gonna shoot at that tank?
It's hitting on 5s.
And on 4s.
Grok crew.
Oh.
Nope. Most likely a Forge World copy editing mistake, but we'll continue.
But it's on the paper.
The point I'm trying to make here, ladies and gentlemen, is it's not worth shooting at because you're averaging 7 shots, you're hitting on half of them, and then wounding on 2 of them,
Yeah.
and it's doing 4 damage, maybe. So essentially, I was trying to run with a big model that will one day become the Gargantuan Squiggoth, which is an amazing model to look at and play with. So I was trying to use that just to get used to fielding a big thing. And amazingly, people would shoot at it instead of the big tracks, which were way more evil and more important. My first game, though, was the best game by far of the day against Diogo, local hero here in Tirana, spreading his wings out into the meadows of Michigan. He's been to Las Vegas. This guy goes to Europe. He plays all over the place. He's basically easily the best opponent there. And I managed to beat him, which was amazing because I had 2 Grot Gunners left. And like the game was just regular rulebook Maelstrom, and essentially the draws were great because we both had basically points as the game went on. Like we were drawing cards that were achievable, so we were neck and neck in points all the way to I guess it was turn 5, but every time I went to go get an objective or score a card, I was basically losing a unit because he was playing your Gilliman, Dreadnoughts, Gunline, Assault Cannon, Razorbacks, just essentially Dreadnoughts and Razorbacks parked around Gilliman. I had one moment where I had Zardsnark the Rippa, who's this really wicked Forge World Orc war boss on a bike, kind of set up to charge Gilliman. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to you guys again. If you have the chance to charge Gilliman and you might kill him, maybe if you get hot, do that. Don't not do that. Because not only did I not do that, but I forgot about him hiding behind the building within range of Gilliman. And he just peeked a Leviathan Dreadnought out the next turn and nuked him from the face of the building.
Oh, my heart.
It would have been, and I was my most un-orc moment because I was like, I could charge Gilliman, but I'm not going to do that. That was stupid. Anyway, but it was an amazing game. Diogo's a wonderful opponent. Like, he's a bit chirpy on the internet, but he's just a really great guy to play against. Really knowledgeable player. My other 2 games were kind of duds, but that's all I'll say about that. As old Forrest Gump says.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I hate Forrest Gump.
No, you should, because that movie was a better picture than Pulp Fiction.
We'll talk about Forrest Gump off the air.
I played against Phil's Mortarion 2 weeks ago. I'm just going to take that
Whoa,
second.
what was that like?
It wasn't that bad. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mortarion.
Because I played, actually, one of the games I played against Magnus, and I realized at that moment that, like, I have never actually tried to figure this out. So,
Magnus and Mortarion are nothing compared to Gilliman.
No, not
Honestly,
even close.
Because you can target.
You can target them.
I'm pretty sure, and I might be crazy, they're all a thing.
They're all good.
They're all good, but I'm way more terrified of Gilliman than I am.
My list is just
Mortarion.
capable of completely destroying a single target on my first turn.
And so what do you run?
So I run my triple predators, and they're the autocannon, las cannon preds.
Okay.
And they're iron hands, so if I need to, I can reposition one of them to get the kill shot stratagem. They have to be within 6 inches of each other. And then I can also like burn the command point for the iron hand, so it doesn't take the negative for shooting.
But wait, there's more.
So kill shot is flat 4 damage on that one predator's autocannons, and then the las cannons do d6 plus 1 damage each.
Right.
And
so it's just one predator that gets that.
Yeah.
The other two
because there
still
was contention around this.
The other two can still shoot, but
Right.
you just bump up one to be really good.
There was no contention. People don't understand English. It wasn't a plural. It said this predator's weapons do
Got it.
+1.
Yeah.
Not
It's like,
this predator in predators plural.
I think the specific wording is like, you select a predator within 6 inches of 2 other predators, that predator gets these bonuses.
That predator's weapons get these bonuses. Yeah. So
Cool. Anyway,
So it's
pleased
just
to know this.
it just pushes a ton of damage through. So actually, I could have killed him first turn. I shot the
what
red.
else do you run though? What makes them better?
So I run the chapter master, Valen Cal of Sons of Medusa. So he has an ability like Gilliman where
reroll hits.
reroll all misses. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just ups because they get to reroll the 2s as well. So it ups the accuracy, the 1s and 2s.
Yes.
Which is really good. And I run a lieutenant as well now on the list, and then I have 2 redemptors with like the Gatling cannon loadout and a Derrideo with the pavés, which gives everything a 5-up invuln in 6 inches.
Okie dokie.
So it's pretty castly. So I shot everything into Mortarion, and I re-rolled one of my las cannon hits, which was 3 damage, to try and kill him without shooting one of the dreads at him, and I re-rolled a 1, which sucks, because I finished my turn 1 with Mortarion on 1 wound. So I probably would have killed him.
Was he rolling poorly on his disgustingly resilient and stuff, or are you just putting?
I seized on him, so he was like kind of
Because
out of position, I
he
guess?
should be saving half of? Isn't he? Isn't he
I mean,
on a
it's
4?
Yeah, so it's 6 las cannons. It's 6 D3 autocannon shots that all do a flat 3 damage.
1
Is
to
it?
4.
One of them's 2 D3 doing 4 damage each. It's wounding him on 3s, and the las cannons with kill shot are wounding him on 2s. So it's like it's pushing a lot of dice through, and it's only a 4-up.
and then a 5-up. Disgusting resilient.
Yeah, he was making a lot. I probably did like 26, probably more than that. Probably almost 30 wounds.
Maybe I might be jumbling my death card stuff, but I thought his disgustingly resilient was buffed.
No, that's a
somebody
warlord
else?
trait. But
Okay.
he has a set warlord trait, which
Got it.
is like
The plague weapon thing.
the
Yeah,
plague weapon thing.
He rerolls 1s to
No, all to wound with plague weapons within 7 inches of him.
right, but he's like strength 16 or something.
Yep, no, but for other
For everybody. It's like his
okay.
chapter master
Yeah.
thing, his Gilliman thing. Is
Right. So you want to run like plague rings and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Phil was running Typhus with like 60 zombies. I've run a guard contingent too. So the wyverns were doing tons of work. Yeah, it kind of came down to killing Mortarion early, and then he was running 2 demon princes as well that just kind of did the Hail Mary, charge the dreadnoughts, and
Yeah.
the dreadnoughts are better than demon princes in combat.
Yep.
So they do d6 damage with their fists, so they just kind of smush them.
So So mean.
So he crashed into the line, and I just bounced him back.
Phil.
It was like just the model is amazing, and I actually seized on him. So if he had gone first, Mortarion would have been the 12 inches plus advance closer to me.
What mission were you playing?
We were playing. I think we were playing Maelstrom.
Yeah. Huh. So how far did this wind up going?
I think we went to top of 4.
Well, all right.
Just because, like, even after killing Mortarion, he was running 3 of the drones from Forge World.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're super fast. They're still tough. They have invulns and demons, right?
And disgusting resilient.
They don't have it.
Yeah, a lot of the vehicles don't have it.
The ones in the Codex do.
Oh right, the new ones in the
Yeah.
Codex do. The
But-
ones that he ran.
But those blow drones are excellent for just like harrying units and tying up shooters.
Oh, they're so annoying. Like,
Yeah.
nothing has 1 wound left. Oh, it still hits with all
All
his
the
weapons
flames.
automatically.
Mm-hmm.
The strength is lower. But yeah, so he retooled the list when we tested out the comp. So I'll talk about that game.
Yeah.
But he put the Codex drones in instead, and they're way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheaper, better.
Cheaper and better, yeah.
Stronger, faster.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a good game. But
Yeah, those are
Hour
games.
after hour.
Does anybody have any special announcements? I feel this is the time we should do special announcements.
What kind of special announcements?
Well, we have an event coming up.
Oh,
We have 2 events coming up.
I'm gonna marry Connor.
it's been
What?
pretty obvious. Writing has been on the wall.
proposal on the air?
Oh, we have 3 events coming up. One of them's not ours. But
What do we got?
November 3rd, put in your calendars. We're doing a build and paint and drink night in that order
Yep.
At-
In that order.
at Seascape
Uh-huh.
on November 3rd.
So we'll set up tables, we'll set up lights, come by, have a couple of beer, build some stuff, and then once we're tired of building, we'll play Super Smash Brothers.
Or Mario Kart.
Mario Kart
Or-
64?
Or
Yeah.
Mario
Mario Party.
Party.
All right.
No.
You-
really feel like some debauchery.
You were having so much fun
I hate
when
Mario
Phil and I
Kart.
were playing the kart game. And we rolled
Phil
back.
was killing himself laughing. That was so funny.
That was a good day. Then November 4th, Connor and I are going, and a bunch of other Hogtanners are going to a Horus Heresy event in Cambridge. So
Oh,
Yep.
just a jaunt down to Cambridge.
It's held at Forbes Hobbies.
yeah, going to be
The Globe Theatre.
Forbes 1st and 2nd Legion, they came out to the big team tournament I was talking about.
Sweet.
They got a good community down there.
and then November 25th is our tournament, but it's sold out. So if you're not in it, get on the wait list. It's sold out in 24 hours.
Also,
Yeah, crazy.
on the 4th, we'll be doing a our first come and hang out at Hogtown and play open day sort of thing. So if you want to come and do that,
So it's a Friday, Saturday?
it's Saturday,
So the Friday is the build, paint, and drink night.
and then
The
the
Saturday,
is the come play some games.
interesting.
And we're going to be doing...
Life is a balance.
Well, I'm not going to be there because we're going to the event, but Adam's going to be organizing a terrain organizing day,
Yes.
which doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but it is a lot of fun.
It is.
It's actually a clever way to get everything sorted out for the club.
Yeah.
So in the first game that you play, you got to take photos of the terrain for it.
It's a great idea, actually.
Yeah,
Easy
get
peasy.
Get all our terrain inventoried and meet some new people. So if you're listening to this, don't set up a game ahead of time.
Right.
Come, see who's there, and maybe Paul. Maybe it'd be fun if you just paired people up randomly.
Maybe do a little matchmaker.
Put your keys in the jar.
Keys in the jar.
Brandy
Dice
glass.
in the cup.
Brandy glass. It's all brandy glass.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool.
And then yeah, that's it.
And I'll be standing outside the entrance to Warzone Atlanta on November the 12th.
Tickets. Get
Fingers
your
crossed.
tickets.
Who's buying? Who's selling? I'm buying. You selling? Please.
Coming back at you with our main topic right after this.
Battle Brothers Studios, a commission painting service passionate about making your miniatures and your gaming table look great. Our philosophy at Battle Brothers is this: your army is our army. Every model will be something you can be proud to show off. Send us a message on facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote and make that dream project come to life. We also have something special planned for the release of 8th edition of 40K. Right now, get 20% off if you commission us to paint an 8th edition starter set. Or get a 10% off Army Bundle bonus for painting up your new 8th edition 40K Army. Inquire with us on Facebook for full details.
Hogtown, Hogtown, Hogtown!
Saturdays at Sword and Board.
Rock and Bloor!
It's behind the pizza.
Oh yeah!
Idiots.
And we're back on our main topic, over-compensating.
Hey.
It's a comp pun.
Simon is going to talk to us about comp. So yeah, we've got an event coming up on the 25th. We just told you about it before the break.
We did.
Well, we all
Group
supported
It's a
it.
group effort. That's fair.
Yep.
There's been, so it's a new type of event we're going to be running. And Simon's been nice enough to spend a lot of his free time and early mornings talking to me on Facebook. We both have nothing else to do. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, I guess.
I'm walking my dog. I assume you're on a bus.
Yeah. I'm either on the subway or on the bus. And I have nothing else to do.
Perfect time to craft a beautiful comp restriction.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is Simon's going to tell us about his ideas. We're going to focus on composition first. We won't really worry about scoring. We didn't talk about that.
It's fine.
Then we're going to talk about the games, because last weekend Paul, Connor, Phil, and I did a kind of round-robin mini tournament that I won.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
Also, it's an asterisk win.
There was some confusion.
No, I would have... Get out of here. I would have beat you whether or not the Leviathan died that turn.
No, you would not have.
Yes, I would have.
I would have destroyed either the Fire Raptor or the Helldrake.
Settle it on the table, boys.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna.
No.
All right,
Still would have
guys.
beat you.
All right, guys.
And so we played through the comp. We used the old comp. We've changed the comp. We'll talk about that
some
in a bit.
tweaks.
We played some missions. We'll talk about what we like and what we don't like. And we'll talk about the games that we played.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be another games played segment, because that's oddly a very popular segment in our show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's my favorite. Just a bunch of little battle reports.
I'm rapidly discovering I just zone out the whole time.
For the entirety of the podcast.
Just 2 hours.
I just fast forward
White
it
noise.
30 seconds at a time until it's over. That's not true at all. I listen to every episode, and
Careful.
I'm always excited when I see it pop up in my podcast feed.
I'm not gonna lie, I do have moments at work where I'm like, I've been listening to this for 20 minutes and I don't know what the hell has happened. I gotta go
Can't do
back.
that.
Dude, that happens to me when I'm editing it.
To use a word that's not real, irregardless, let's move on.
Ooh.
So, overcompensating, name of the Compcast. I'm sure a lot of players actually would say that this is overcompensating, just having a comp in general. But I think we can finally say that we have an idea of where 8th is going. And currently how it's set up, especially as codexes are added, it's actually super fun. I mean, the layers of rules that you can build into your lists.
Nick owes everyone a case of beer.
We're gonna slow it down for everybody.
Julie
Slow it
owes
right
everyone a
down.
case of beer.
Oh, yeah. Who's calling? So before that, I was droning on about where we can see kind of where 8th is going. Lots of layered rules, bonuses through stratagems, bonuses through faction bonuses, warlord traits and relics, as we've known in the past. And I think for the purposes of, dare I say, our club,
You're part of it now, buddy. You paid your membership.
we're holding hands.
Oh, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
That I don't know. It's kind of be a good idea to take some of the harder edges off of what a random group of dudes can, and maybe a lady someday, bring to a tournament. Give it their best shot. There was one of my favorite formats from 7th edition was called SN Battle Reports. This borrows heavily from that.
I just subscribed to them.
Oh yeah, well they're
So wicked.
They're wicked, and they run a great this cool. Everyone travels to it tournament in Gibraltar. I may have talked about in the past, but they used to run CAD and a formation. And that was it. And you can only have one faction. You couldn't ally. So what we've done, I think, kind of mirrors off of that. And the builds you can in those days, you can make no mistake. If someone really wants to, they're going to bring something quite gross.
Oh.
Even with our comp.
All the lists are good. Like
They're good and they're tuned up, but hopefully they're not stupid looking, which I think is really the problem.
Yeah.
Is when you see a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense playing together.
Yep.
And hopefully they're not so layered with special rules that it's not, well, my god is and then you pick up your stuff and you feel bad. Hopefully there's a little bit more nuance to the game. Something like I think what we had, I don't know if you guys might agree, Index 40K felt like,
Yeah.
when
Oh,
you were
yeah. Before the codexes came out?
and before
for
everyone
sure.
kind of figured out what was the absolute best, like it was kind of neat.
Man, we played that like Sword and Board like opening weekend.
Oh,
And
yeah. When
it was
eighth
the
dropped.
start of 8th, and everyone came just with like whatever they put in their case that morning,
Yeah.
and that was like the best day I've had there
Yeah.
in a long, long time.
It was a lot of fun. We had the indexes early, so Paul and I.
A little bit of a heads up.
I was looking at literal cell phone photos of some guy who went through every page like a hero.
It's all my iPad.
And
That's what I have for indexes.
anyway, so with our comp, shall we discuss some of the decisions we've made?
I would love it if you did that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right, so running it down, pretty straightforward, really. So limiting it to 2 detachments.
I think it's huge. I mean, originally we started off, it was a little bit more restrictive.
Yeah.
Because you, originally I think it was like, one must be a patrol battalion or brigade.
I forgot that, and you took it out.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice.
We discussed it.
It was early.
Yeah.
7 in the morning.
7 in the morning. Yeah, so it just felt, Paul mentioned it, and upon further thinking about it, it was true. There are some codexes where there's still a troop tax,
Yeah.
and it does really weigh you down.
Yeah. And especially since brigades are 3 troops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So
Battalions.
battalion. Shit.
No,
The one with 3 troops, like, immediately in my head, I'm like, Grey Knights, although it's great to bring 3 units of strength Marines. But, like,
even though we took it out, I'm still doing it.
yeah,
I feel like
sure.
I need the
Oh,
command
me
points.
too.
And for command points, if you want to, it's good. It's good to be flexible. Really, the thing is, it's 2 detachments, and we've also removed the super heavy detachment, the one that's 3 to 5.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Flyer wing.
and everyone's favorite, the Supreme Command detachment.
You can still pile in so many HQs in 2 detachments.
Yeah, but
5.
not as much as 3 Supreme Command detachments.
No, you're right.
And also, it forces you to buy other things. Like, you have to, even if you're using one of the specialized attachments, you got to buy 3 elites or 3 fast attack or 3 heavy support, right? So you have to bring other stuff.
Yeah, like if you're taking a battalion in Tau, you have to take 3 troops, and then you can take your 3 commanders. But you can't just take 3 commanders for free.
Yeah. So it forces what I like to call the economy of choice. And
I'm pretty sure that's what economists call it.
I invented the term just now.
Okay.
And
All right, Donald Trump. calm down.
anywho.
Who's that? We don't mention that name.
No, that's a bad word around here. Around everywhere. Anyway, so then what are some other important things that we did? And the next one was layering of I know what it was. Battleforge. We changed Battleforged around. So in this, essentially what we did was we wanted, if there was going to be keyword combos, we wanted to make it so that at the very least it hung together. So we got rid of Battleforge counting if everyone shares Chaos or Imperium. So you've got to at least share a sub-faction keyword. There are some obvious immediate things like, what about Inquisition? Although that's a bad example because
We made an exception.
someone asked about that today and he didn't talk like that. Regardless, so we set it up so that if you do have the Imperium keyword, you can bring units of Inquisition and the other ones.
Assassins.
Custodes, Astrotel, Telepatica, and Knights.
The blanket agents of the Imperium.
Yes, as they became known. And for Chaos, you can bring Knights if you want. Kind of one of the neat things that Nick discovered with Chaos is that if you get rid of the Chaos keyword, you can still bring like a mixed detachment of demons and Chaos Space Marines. They just have to share the same God keyword.
Yep. Right. So like Death Guard has the Nurgle keyword, so they can take Nurgle demons and still be Battleforge. So because we were talking about how do we do a really complicated thing to let Chaos be able to ally with demons, and then I was going through the book last weekend and I was like, Nurglings have the Nurgle keyword. Every unit in the Death Guard Codex has the Nurgle keyword. This is a problem we don't even have to solve.
Yep.
Because it's not a problem.
And there are some other examples, I think, in various codexes. Although the Adeptus Mechanicus example I call out is wrong because everyone has that keyword.
Question, and this is just for my own edification. Tyranids and Gene Stealer cults.
They should share the chain keyword.
Share Tyranid? Okay, perfect.
Where it wouldn't work, so, and I think this actually is kind of good, is that Gene Stealer cult specifically can bring Astra Militarum or Tyranid detachments with them.
Can't bring both, though. You only have to pick one.
You have to pick one, but they don't share a keyword with Astra Militarum.
Right.
So you
That's
won't
just
get the Codex Doctrine.
You wouldn't get the Codex guard, but you'd be able to get the actual Gene Stealer cult guard data slates that are there.
Yep.
Because they do have a Living Rust and all that kind of stuff. And if you're out there and you're upset about this,
Tell us.
call us at 555.
Or just don't play in the event.
Or don't play the event. Not that you can.
the
Sold
event's
out.
Sucker.
What up? So that's it pretty much for how to Battleforge. And I think that...
and we had the Forge World stuff.
yeah, no, that's just the Battleforge.
Oh, right.
There's still more.
Oh, right. We haven't even done the special rules.
Yeah, so that's... So
So much more.
on top of that, we'll skip to that. So this is actually the modified version from the original. Nick, what did we do originally?
So it was everybody has. So best example would be Catachans.
Yep.
Everybody in both detachments. Catachans. Everybody in both detachments has to have the Catachan regiment word. But what we discovered is that apparently Valkyries don't have a regimental keyword, which I thought was weird.
There's a couple things in
There's
the
a
Codex
couple
that don't
things.
have it.
Yeah, so that was a mistake
Like
that we made.
commissars and ogrins
Yeah.
and rattlings.
And they actually, in the book, call out if these guys are in the detachment, it doesn't give you any problems for having the regimental doctrines.
Yeah.
Yes, because Yarrick's special rules reference sharing a keyword, I think.
Yeah, that's probably for regiment basis. And he hates orcs. Thanks for bringing it up.
Triggered.
So we also discovered, sort of had an aha, that sort of I don't know, there's actually really not a name for them, but call them like faction special rules. So that would be regimental doctrines, chapter tactics, whatever Death Guard get.
Legion tactics. Or traits.
Those things where if your entire detachment shares a keyword and doesn't break any of the other exceptions they make, then you get those extra things. Stratagems, Warlord traits, relics, Imperial Guard orders actually are given to you if you just have a unit from that faction in the list. Mm-hmm. So say you wanted to bring a knight and you wanted to have an assassin as well, you could bring your guard, put your assassin in the detachment with the guard, but you're going to lose your regimental doctrines. So it kind of forces a decision point there.
Yeah.
Or actually probably more typically for the guard, a Baneblade or something humongous and mean. We also adopted, speaking of humongous and mean, we adopted a few things to take the sort of the crazier units off the table. So that's something the ITC did, and they're hinting very strongly that this will be fixed with chapter approved in December, so that this thing will be lifted. But it's a power level cap of 31.
You guys are lucky the Falchions 32.
And that's on purpose, for sure.
I checked.
Stompus can't come.
Yeah, they didn't just come to an arbitrary number. Like they actually decided on what it was.
The bigger deal, and I don't know how many guys.
Can't bring the
have
Bat
it.
Scorpion either, though.
Brass Scorpion was a big deal when the indexes dropped, but also the greater demons in the Forge books are insane, and they're very well known. And then the other thing that we did, and this confused people, which surprised me, but was to make each Forge World data slate. I changed the wording 0 to 1. So I can bring a Forge World big track for my orcs, but I can't bring 3 of them.
Yep.
And
Or you can bring 3 Malanthropes in the same HQ slot, but you can't bring 3 separate ones to fill your HQ slots for all your detachments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah,
was
I think it's a good rule. That's fine.
And also, another big bad out there right now is the Malefic Lord, which is a nice, cheap, smite spamming guy that can turn into a demon and do crazy stuff.
You can only take 5 of them now with our comp. No, you can't take any. You can't take any because they're 0 to 1 now.
Yeah, you can take 1 if you wanted to, and that's fine. We do make exceptions though, and I don't know if anyone out there would come for if you bring an actual. There are a few Forge World army lists and those guys would be like the Elysians, Death Corps of Krieg, and the guys we were just talking about, Renegades and Heretics.
Yeah, Jay will probably end up bringing a Renegades and Heretics list.
So
You might mix it with Nurgle. Oh wait, he can't under this comp. Oh yeah, he can.
It's his problem.
Yeah.
He'll figure it out.
So there you have it. Those are kind of all the core restrictions. Did we actually explain how the special rules are?
No.
Or was it, so yeah. So it's essentially, actually, I think we did.
Yeah,
I blacked out.
I remember. You were the one talking.
I know.
Yeah, but you've got some. Yeah, so you got some good examples here.
Comes out
Right?
of a fever dream.
So so it was like your examples here is like you have Catachan Regiment keyword, that's one detachment. The second detachment is super heavy auxiliary containing an Imperial Knight, and the player can use Astra Militarum, Catachan stratagems, orders, and special rules as described in the Codex. But if you have a detachment that has the Catachan Regiment keyword and an assassin, and that detachment has the Warlord, then you can.
That's actually the distinction that also we brought in. So
Right.
the detachment that holds your
to read this,
Warlord,
he changed it.
which this actually came from feedback from, I can't remember his name, nice guy. He's the one I made the silly voice for.
Shane?
Shane!
Shane's a good guy.
He suggested that the detachment with the Warlord be the one that determines what stratagems and whatever you get access to, which I thought was actually kind of a clever trick. And I also wrote in just that if the other detachment you bring is the same as that one, and everyone's the same, then everyone gets the special rules.
Yeah.
So I think it all kind of works cleanly. Essentially, you look at who your Warlord is and whether or not that detachment qualifies for all your special jazz. And if it does, you get the jazz. If not, well, you're going to have to make that call.
It sounds like a lot, but when you read it, it's 2 pages. So
Yeah.
you can get it. It's not that difficult.
And it really makes sense to me because, bad example, but we'll use this. If you mix 2 Space Marine chapters, they're not going to be, from a fluff perspective, plug your ears.
I can handle it, dude.
If you mix 2 Space Marine, like if they're fighting together, they're not going to be as effective as one force. Right?
I'm not a Space Marine. I can't comment. But it looks better.
If you were a conscript.
It looks better. I think I would say at the very least. And I think that's really the key. This is, we're handsome gentlemen. We want to play with handsome toys.
But there's a big drawback to not doing the entire thing as one faction. Like you lose OBSEC, you lose your chapter tactics,
Yep.
you lose the +1 or +1 to cast for Grey Knights. Right? So there's some heavy stuff here. If you go, I can take all these different units from different codexes. Sure.
You lose your disgustingly resilient on Death Guard, which is huge.
No, that's a special rule in their data.
Yeah, I
set.
think that's on the
Oh,
dice.
okay.
Yeah.
It's not based on the Legion.
Hellbirds don't get it.
Yeah. And then the other thing we added in
Advancing
here.
and shooting thing?
No, it's advancing and shooting and rapid fire out to 18 inches.
Yes. Yeah. So it's big to lose, though.
And then we added objective secured for everybody's troops. If all troops in the faction detachment, if your army's battle forged.
Yeah, that's something I think that
Kind of have to do at this
Yep.
point. Oddly, not at Warzone Atlanta, but whatever.
I thought GW FAQ'd that.
So what they did was coming into the Nova tournament in September, the Nova Open. They released snippets of a few things from what will be chapter approved.
Oh, so it was like whether the tournament wanted to adopt it or not at that point.
Well, the tournament organizers there are playtesters, and so I think they were going to do it, and I think GW was like, all right, well, we'll just say we told them. And that gave them more credibility, but for some reason, not everyone adopts it. That one, to me, is the biggest no-brainer because everyone is getting it.
yeah.
You should just get it. And the only exception to that is Yunari, because they are actually a soup list.
Yeah.
But you can't run those characters unless they're in a Yunari list, so there you go.
Cool.
Yunari belongs on Mars.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So that pretty much sums up the comp. It took a little while to hammer out, but I think it's good. It's going to make for a fun event.
I'm curious to know, like, before we get into games played, maybe. Obviously, not you, Nick. But did you find yourselves making different choices than you would normally, or did it feel very comfortable? Is it like sort of what you would have done anyway, because that's the way you roll?
I ended up making a few different choices. I ended up having to take a patrol. This was before we made the tweaks. Just to get the stuff I wanted. I was like, I'll take patrol and I'll lose that 1 command point for taking that I would have got if I was just taking a Spearhead and a Vanguard.
Yeah.
So at that point, that was the point that I brought up, where it's like, it's penalizing me, and I'm not really, I'm not abusing anything. I was just like building a kind of fun, fluffy list that also had a ton of autocannons and is hard, but like it's not like I'm trying to like make an Imperial soup. So that was why I was like, let's just make it 0 to 1 detachments.
And like immediately, one of the things was I'm making an Imperial soup, but it was Scions, Inquisition, Grey Knights. Like, yeah, you should be able to do that, but sorry you can't.
Yeah.
So I guess to get one, you kind of have to give up the other sometimes.
Yeah. That's all I changed was I still run the core of like the Dreadnought Star and then the Predator Killshot Squadron. So just swapping the troops from like 30 guard bodies and 3 Sentinels and 2 Wyverns.
That's a bit of a difference.
I get 3 minimum tack squads, a Rhino, and a drop pod.
Scouts, bro.
I don't have any scout models from Iron Hands. Yeah. It's all the Heresy models.
Yeah, okay.
I've got 1 unit of scouts that I'm a little loath to get rid of, but then Dreadnought.
Yeah. Scouts are just so handy.
Yeah. It's still a strong list. It just is different.
Yeah. And I think also puts that, like, Space Marines, like, those big gun lines, one of the biggest things that makes them so unassailable is, 90 bodies in front of it that you got to chew through. You can't charge into it. You can't deep strike into it. You got to clear the chaff first, which is at really, really high end levels of competitive play. That's what you got to be able to do.
Those lists are able to do it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, playing like a semi-competitive comp.
Yeah.
Just has a semi-competitive list. So that's fine.
So that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will be the strongest thing in this comp?
I think if you have a list that can actually make a brigade, it'll be pretty good. Because I think like you'll just get so many more command points than everybody else, and if you have a codex, that's going to help you so much.
And coupled with the new stratagems for guard, that's having
I don't know
12 command points.
I don't know if anybody's bringing guard though.
Brian's
not going to be able to bring a brigade.
Oh, we forgot one very important thing: hobby minimums.
Oh yes, so we did decide to go with the don't come if you don't have your stuff painted, and if you do come without your stuff painted, then you'll be shamed and won't win any prizes.
You finish with 0. I actually love that.
Yeah, you can play if you show up with a model that's unpainted. That's great. You're not winning any prizes, and you're and you're 0 at the end of the day.
And I think the standards aren't insane. They're it's 3 colors and based, and 3 colors does not mean 3 dots,
and that's at Paul's discretion.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. Yeah.
Crazy.
Paul is going to be the TO for this. Paul, you did really well at the doubles one.
This one's going to be a cakewalk. It's like half the amount of players and like...
And you have an app.
You got an app.
And I got an app this time.
Yeah.
It's going to be rolling doobies.
I think it's
going to be it up.
I think it's going to be rules stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's going to be the main thing that comes up. And
honestly, every rules dispute that I've ever settled is, what does the book say? Has anyone opened the book? Because seriously, at the doubles, like I was called over to tables, and people would be like, "So we're doing this and this and this." I was like, "Well, let's crack open the book and take a look."
I feel like that's what most TOs do, probably.
Yeah, it's what Giles did on Buffy. We have a question. Let's look at a book.
We're in a library.
Yeah, not by accident.
But for the hobby stuff, you will have to. I hope it doesn't come up. We've made it quite clear to not show up with unpainted models.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly fine if someone just like does a bad job, because it's not like they're going to win. But
the thing that we don't want is it clear that somebody just did the night before 3 color minimum.
I mean, if it's neat, essentially, I think the thing would be is if it's coming, if it's down to the wire and you're not sure, reach out to an adult and
it's
like get a thumbs up or down.
The comment was just don't try and game the system. Like don't prime your model black and then put 3 different colored dots on its forehead. Like just don't.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
That's gonna get you.
You won't be Paul's BFF.
No.
Which is the name of the prize, which I like now.
Is it actually?
Yeah. And then one last thing I want to talk about before we move into missions and games. I don't want to get too into scoring, because we'll save that for the tournament. But we made a big change to how sportsmanship is scored now. So sportsmanship is now, because we were talking about this
Yeah.
Like, we talked about this when we were talking about the last one.
You guys
Like,
rolled over on this pretty easy. I was kind of surprised.
well, because I made some changes. I don't know if you saw them. No, to
I love
win,
how both of you are just like, he made some changes. I didn't notice. He
so
made
for,
some
for
changes. I didn't
best
notice.
overall, you have to have 3 thumbs up for sportsman. Yeah,
Maybe
so
explain that
basically
distinction.
sportsmanship now is just a thumbs up or thumbs down. And if you give your opponent thumbs down, Paul is going to go talk to you first, figure out what happened, talk to your opponent, and it's a serious thing. It's if somebody did something really, really shitty to you in a game and it made you feel not like not a gotcha moment, but like what would you consider to be a thumbs down moment?
I'd say someone getting hot and swearing at me.
Obviously slow playing me to take the win.
Blatant cheating.
Yep.
Pretty straight up thumbs down. Not like thumbs down.
Not like, oh man, he brought a really strong list and kicked my ass.
Yeah,
like,
no.
if someone's list is hard and you lost bad, that's not a thumbs down. That's you lost, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, people picking up your models after you tell them not to.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Just
fair.
respect your opponent, and you're going to get a thumbs up. I don't think anyone's going to get a thumbs down. This
No, we
tournament.
got a good group.
I have never, in tournaments that have used this system, I have never even felt remotely compelled to give a thumbs down. What's the other one?
Oh, the other one. So I just wanted to finish off with why when I first I was a little hesitant to agree to this, and then I realized that all the time we have Paul being like, "Don't give everybody a 5 for sportsmanship." And not all the best games you had. A good game is a 3. A 5 is the best game of your entire life. And at the end of the tournament, it's just 5.
Everybody's 15.
Like, it is a nice problem to have that,
Yes.
like, everyone crazy enjoyed their game.
Yes.
Oh, Jimmy was a 4 today.
Oh, I know. Like,
Yeah, it sucks when you follow the rules and give somebody a 2 and they won't shut the hell up about it.
Mike.
To be fair, you cost him the tournament.
That's harsh. And also, by the way, that exact thing that we just talked about was why I argued so heavily against it.
To do best sportsman, because we got to have a best sportsman prize because we're a hog town, we're doing ranked ballot for favorite opponent. So at the end of the tournament, you rank your ballot of your first favorite opponent, your second favorite opponent, and your third favorite opponent. Yep. Or if you liked one person and didn't like the other 2, you can just put one at the top.
Actually,
That's
no,
for
you got to rank
tiebreakers,
them.
right?
You got to rank them.
No, it's for the prize. Yeah,
Right.
it's
But
for
the 3, yeah.
Best point, I actually just realized, maybe we could discuss this right now, because I realized because we have a ranked ballot, you can go down, and so if there's a tie, obviously, it's only a 3-round tournament, so you're probably going to have a multi-tie at the top. Mm-hmm. You could then go to the second choices.
It's a ranked ballot. That's how we should go.
Yeah, because did we get rid of what the original tiebreaker was?
50-50 on scores or something.
Yeah.
It's still in
Oh,
there.
no, it's still in there. Yeah, so we'll change that.
It's cut.
Yep, it's ranked ballot.
That's how dynamic this process is. This is how you design a tournament, people.
yeah, like ranked ballot, you just top is 3.
I think it's the easiest way to go.
I had this other tiebreaker in there because I thought we wouldn't have enough to make a decision.
And that was pistols at Dom?
No, it's like a slap fight. They're friendly guys.
Dreadsock versus Dreadsock.
Yeah.
2 nerds enter, 1 nerd leaves.
The other one does too, but a little later.
Without a prize, but he still had a good time. It's not a good chant, but it makes us feel good.
So we're going to move into missions now because I don't want to be here all night, and this is going to be a long episode. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Well, we can just fly through this.
Yeah,
We won't get caught off guard or off topic.
That never happens, man.
Never happens. So
Don't complicate things.
Yes.
Ah, he did it! He made a joke!
where did you pull these missions from?
All right, so I gave them a blind taste. Like, we did the Pepsi challenge of major format tournament missions. So the first one,
I wasn't given RC Cola as an option. So
no, I'd say this is like legitimately the Pepsi and Coke. So we had the gentlemen try out the brand spanking new. They hadn't been out for more than a few days. ITC missions, which I haven't had a chance to play yet. I was super excited until these guys played with me. I was super excited about them.
Notes.
No, I know.
Network notes.
Too many notes. But no, it's fine. And you'll hear about them. And then the other ones are actually the ETC missions from the most recent ETC tournament, which is the European Team Championship, which to me are the probably most easy to grasp because they are essentially playing a Maelstrom and an Eternal War mission at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a regular game, except there's more jaywalking and you can drink younger.
an interesting analogy that I hadn't considered.
European.
Dogs can go anywhere.
So
that was my preamble. I apologize for hijacking this. Please tell us how much you loved it.
So mission 1, Connor and I played each other.
We loved it. It was good. Our notes for mission 1 and mission 2 are the same.
Yes, they're the exact same. And basically what we had is there are 8 choices for any time scoring for secondary objectives. So you got your classic Kingslayer, except it's changed. So you earn a point for every 2 wounds taken off a character.
Doesn't have to be the warlord though. It's just a character.
Yeah, so the person picking the objective picks
Is
the character.
that 2 wounds taken off in 1 turn, or every 2 wounds?
Every 2 wounds.
Yeah. And then if the model selected has the character and vehicle or monster keywords, you earn 1 point for every 3 wounds dealt to it. And you can only get 4 points for each secondary objective. So like Mortarion, even though he's got 18 wounds, if you pick that as your warlord, you can only get 4 points off of killing him. Right. Which is kind of cool. You've got Headhunter for 1 point destroying an enemy character. The Reaper earn 1 point for destroying an enemy unit with 10 or more models. And that's it's not like, oh, that unit had 10 models at the beginning of the turn, now it's dead. I get a point.
It's when it starts.
And then 2 points if the unit has 20 models. So that's fun, because up against Phil in my second game, he had the zombies. So I picked that one, because that's quite easy 4 points. Table Quarters, Big Game Hunter, points for killing things with 10 or more wounds. Titan Slayers, Titanic keywords, every 8 wounds dealt to a Titanic model. Behind enemy lines at the end of the game. And Death by 1,000 Cuts, destroy 3 or more enemy units in a single battle round. You earn 1 point. That one seems a little low for killing 3 units.
It's hard to do,
Yeah.
I think so. The whole point of this is you're tailoring the mission to your list, right?
Yes.
So,
and your opponent's list.
yeah, and your opponent's list. So maybe you have Kiss My Ass, Gilliman Gunline, and you can nuke 3 things no problem every turn.
Or you're just facing like Eldar Jetbike MSU or something. Like you could do it, right?
Yeah.
It's still 1 point, though. That's my point. For killing 3 units.
Right, but if you can kill 9 jet bikes in 3 separate squads, that's only really worth 1 point. You have to kill 3 units
Oh, yes.
to get the point.
Yeah.
And killing 9 jet bikes is not that hard.
True, not anymore.
Yeah.
Now with Jink being gone. Thank
Yeah.
God.
So
But
I think
tomorrow we find out.
I think it's fine. I think it's
Oh
fine
my
with 1.
god.
And then that's just the secondary, and so I think that by the way is a style taken from the Nova mission set and others.
Yeah, I quite like that. Then here's where the part we didn't really like. The scoring 3 times during a battle round. So you score points. It is 3 times.
Twice.
No, it's 3 times.
Just hear it out.
So there's end of player turn scoring. If at the end of your turn, do you hold 1 or more objective, you gain a point. Did you destroy 1 or more enemy units, you gain a point. So then the person who goes first at the end of their first turn, they score.
You score your secondaries that you chose, and you score these like tertiaries.
Yes.
But you do that at the end of the battle round.
Then there's the end of the battle round scoring. So player 1's gone, they've scored their points. Player 2's gone, they've scored their points. The end of battle round scoring now happens.
And to be clear, all you have to do is kill 1 thing and stand on 1 objective.
Yes.
At the end of your turn.
At the end of the battle round, you have to hold more objectives than your opponent. That's worth a point. And destroying more enemy units than your opponent is also worth 1 point.
So if you killed more or you hold more ground, you get an extra point. So you can score 4 to 2 in each turn.
Yeah. So that's the only part we didn't really like. And I'd like to get rid of one of those.
For me, it just felt like I was counting things twice, and I was like second guessing myself all the time.
You're already keeping track of and counting your secondaries that you chose 3 of?
Yeah.
Every match, so they'll change. Which isn't that bad. Like, we all play Warhammer. We can
do that.
Yeah, we can have that in our head. But then, then you're doing the end of your turn and the end of the game turn, so it's just like a lot of bookkeeping, and I don't think it's confusing. I think it was just like slowing down each turn, like another 5-10 minutes.
Right.
Just
And then there were times where it was like I said this before we started recording. It was like, oh, I killed 3 units this turn. No, you killed that guy last turn. Oh, are you sure? I don't remember when he died.
And my issue is, it was fun to play, and I would play exactly the same way again. I would not want to be in a tournament setting doing this, especially where I'm the TL.
So The thing I would say is that maybe two, they are called like the Masters missions, and so the reason why I found your feedback kind of interesting. First of all, when they were released, they said the one downside is bookkeeping. And that's why they had that sheet there. I don't know if it helped, but the second thing is
we didn't print off the sheet.
Yeah.
it might be a
That's
matter.
maybe what it was. We didn't use the sheet.
You didn't have the sheet.
I asked Phil to print them off and he didn't.
We use them. I use them wrong.
Anyway, the point I was just trying to make is that,
that's smart.
as like a guy who likes to play in tournaments a lot, I know what I need to do, and I'm really focused on that.
Yeah.
And like I know that's not always been the case when I was playing 40K. Like I wasn't always focused on the mission, and I would do things like everyone does, which is like get halfway through the tournament and be like, oh, I didn't do my Maelstrom stuff. You know, like you get caught up and you're not paying super close attention to it. So I can understand why that feels hard when you have to think back because it's not necessarily what you're thinking about.
I think yeah. So I think the issue was like, it's that because you're playing in a tournament, so you want to win. So every turn, you're more so than a casual game. You're really focused on what your objectives are to achieve that turn in terms of scoring objectives, but also like what you need to kill and target prioritize. So you're taking your time. That's why tournament games are just longer than normal games, and you have to keep track of when it comes down to the later turns, at least. Like you're really figuring out how am I going to win in the next turn and a half or whatever.
Yeah. To me, that's like I would just be ticking boxes as I go. Yeah. But like I first of all, like it's out of the gate the criticism, and then it's not surprising me that was your feedback from it.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like an exciting race, and that's actually how it's supposed to be set up. But there's also no random turn length.
I like no random turn length.
They're all 6. Most of them are 6.
And it did. I will admit, like it did give a really like a tooth and nail feel to the entire game.
Our
like,
games were close. Like even Connor wiped the floor with me in terms
but the
of
points
models.
were good.
Our points were like 19-14.
Yeah.
And that was like I got a bunch the last 2 turns, and you weren't able to score any. Like up until that point, it was really close.
Was dead, and Connor's like, "We're gonna play this to the 6th turn." I know. You had to.
We had to.
It's a tournament. Yeah, you have to play. Even if it's like, I tabled you. It's like, no, you play out and you get the points. The points make the difference.
Yeah,
at the end of the
even if you're
right?
off the table, I get my last 6th turn to get on all the objectives and get the extra
You
points.
get your full. If you table me by turn 3, you should get all those turns to get all the objectives you need.
At what point are we sending out the player packs?
After everyone, I like sending out the player packs right away, and then I like to send out missions after lists have been submitted.
If we're doing these, we need to send out. No,
I would say that missions should be with the pack as people are designing their lists.
Yeah. This is what I was saying. Like,
especially for, like,
I know we talked about this on our original thing. I think it's just a style point. When you were talking about designing an event, actually, I think that was the episode, and I remember being like, "Really?" And I don't know. At a tournament, you want to build to the mission.
This is exactly what I was going to say. Like something like this, if you're doing it this complex, or like a shade of this, especially for our group that like. I've noticed that everyone likes to say that they're casual and then like somehow brings super hard lists.
Yeah.
This has been noted.
Yeah. Or like I think actually what people mean when they're like I'm casual, it's like actually I'm just like not a crazy person. Like, I'll go have a beer. With you.
Yeah. No, I think
But yeah, I do think with something like this we need to send that out beforehand.
No, when you say it like that, it definitely makes sense. The one we were talking about was the lethal lottery.
That's the doubles is like
it's
so casual that it doesn't matter.
The point of it is
Random.
you want to throw something at somebody that they're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why?
You never bring in a 2,000 list, so when you're playing like a weird 1,000-point list, you're just like, I'm gonna bring my like jump pack chaplain, and he's gonna kick ass.
Bring your
Just
boys,
like,
man.
Yeah,
and like even something like Astro. Like Astro has a different mission for each board, or at least they used to, right?
Yeah,
so like, and that's a narrative themed thing. This one, the pack says like we're gonna stay true to our values and not be dicks, but we're going to come here, we're going to play the mission, we're going to bring tough lists within the limits, and we're going to have a nice day.
We brought it from like a 7 to a 9.
Yeah.
And like we're going to try to play hard and have fun.
And we will be doing Astro and other stuff like this, but I think you're right. Like having people build lists to the mission is extremely important for this kind of stuff.
Actually, what I really liked about the missions, so we're going to talk about mission 2, but each mission was balanced for a different army. So it's like everybody has a chance to win a different mission depending on their list.
Yeah.
Which I really liked.
Yeah, mission 2 So mission 1, do you want to talk about our game quickly?
Sure.
Connor just, like I said, wiped the floor with me. Really quickly.
So mission 1 is
6 objectives.
there's 6 objectives on the table, and they're not random. They're placed. There's like a little map in the player pack that tells you where to put them. So it's like 2 triangles facing into the middle.
It's
for each
balanced no
deployment.
matter what deployment you end up doing.
These also all use random deployment.
Yep.
That's another thing.
I really liked that aspect. That every mission, every table would have a different deployment.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
So were we playing Maelstrom? No.
No.
You just hold. Oh, you want to hold the objectives so you get the point at the end of your turn.
Yes.
So yeah, we got Dawn of War,
Yeah, which sucked for me.
which is really good for my list because everything has 48-inch range,
So you just put everything in the
Predators.
middle of the board. Yeah.
and I'm in range of you no matter where you are. Yeah.
And then, did you finish deploying first?
Yep.
Yeah, you
So I
finished
got the +1
So we did the +1 to...
because I put my chapter master, my lieutenant, in the Rhino.
But then he rolled a 6 and I rolled a 1. So it didn't even
It didn't matter. Yeah. So I got first turn, killed the Fire Raptor first turn again with kill shot
Yep.
because that's what the list does.
Yep.
It puts you at a disadvantage.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. You kind of like made a mistake in sending your Demon Prince by himself up the flank to fight my chapter master
Dark
and
in
the 2
your pie. I
dreadnoughts.
sense shade.
Ooh, it got chilly.
Well, if I had kept him back, he would have just done nothing there. And you would have shot him eventually.
He's fast enough to reposition.
If he got... But that's just it. I had nothing else on that flank because the Helldrake was basically down to its last bracket. So if I had just left him there, you would have been...
Oh, actually, so yeah, that's what it was. 2 predators killed the Fire Raptor,
Yeah.
and then the 3rd predator got the Helldrake down to like 2 wounds or something.
So
It's
the
a lot
Demon
of
Prince
damage.
was alone, and if you had just repositioned your Predators a little bit, he would have been the closest person to you. If I hadn't,
On the next turn.
if I hadn't have charged him up the flank, so I was like, let's do it.
We talked about it too. Yeah, so it would have been a sacrifice. Like you kill the chapter master, and then he dies the next turn.
Yes.
But it would have been worth it, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, because we talked about the math, and it was like I made just like 2 or 3 more 4-ups than I should have on his invulns, because the Demon Prince does a flat 2 damage. So
Hot hand at a dice game, baby.
yep.
Oh, he made 4-ups like a boss. And like the Iron Hands thing where you roll 6s and ignore wounds, Connor is just...
He's so good at it. He got really good at rolling
He
sixes.
microwaves those dice.
Yep. Gotta heat him up.
Paul, how was your first game?
Good. I played the Morty Death Guard list, and we drew Hammer and Anvil, so that worked for me because he's real
Yeah.
slow, and Phil like threw Morty ahead, and by the time he was in range, dropped the Death Shroud Terminators behind them, and was just like pulling wounds on or actual shots onto those guys. My entire army shot at Mortarion and those 3 Death Shroud and killed them. And
First turn?
second turn,
Okay.
just like like, and I
That is a slightly unsporting, I think.
what? No way! Because it was like gonna get up in my lines and
Yeah.
like just start doing.
Once he gets in, he's gross, man.
Oh yeah. So, but
-1 toughness.
the deployment really helped me out, like giving me that just long time and just where it was like a lot of line of sight blocking terrain, a small clear area where Morty was going to have to land, and then some more line of sight blocking terrain. The storm cannon does a lot of work. Double storm cannon.
20 shots will do that to anything.
Yeah, strength 7 -2. The Death Shroud were really good. He was also just rolling poor on Morty's resilient rolls. Absolutely love. I've said it before, that Cassiferum Dreadnought. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. 2 autocannons. He doesn't degrade.
Yeah.
He's only got 8
Yeah,
wounds.
That's the best part about them, actually.
Like only 8 wounds, but at the same time, there's bigger threats in that list.
Yeah.
Typhus came in and got caught out in the open and just got pasted by 4 last cannons.
Man, I feel like we played the same game against Phil, and like
Yeah.
the opposite thing just happened, and he made all of his dice rolls against me because I couldn't do anything against
Well,
it.
that's the thing about these chance cubes.
Yep.
Especially when it all comes down to a 4-up.
Yeah, that's chance.
Well, I got
Straight
way
up.
I got way around his 4-up, which I got off of my mission against him. But let's talk about that in mission 2. Mission 2 is exactly the same as mission 1, same feedback.
But
I-
there's only 2 objectives
And I'm not
instead
a,
of 6.
And I'm not a huge fan of this mission. Like the Eternal War one, where there's only 2. I've never
I-
enjoyed it as much.
I
as
liked
the
it
other.
because I found the first mission with 6 is like because there was a bonus point where like if you hold more objectives than your opponent, you're getting a victory point for your secondaries. And at the end of the game, one of the things was if you're holding
Both.
5 objectives or
That's
something.
per turn.
Yeah, that's a per turn thing.
Right. So okay, that was one of the end of the game turn things. But I did like that though. If you're
bonus-
holding 5, you get another point on top of that.
But the bonus one for mission 2 is do you control both take and hold objectives?
No. So this is what I'm saying. So the one with 6 is good for lists with it's either MSU or a ton of obsec troops or people that are super fast and can grab a ton of objectives. Where mission 2 favors armies that want to be static and sit in the gun line and hold one objective. And then at the end of the game, maybe they'll take yours as well with what they've been advancing with. So I think
I don't see that being worth points, though.
No, but I'm just saying the missions are good for different lists.
Yeah.
So the wrinkle I figured that on the first mission you guys would be sweating and upset about having to run around the table so much. This one is kind of a go beat 'em up thing. So the take and hold is the person who has the most units within 9 inches of that objective. I don't know if you guys played it that way.
Certainly didn't.
Objective secured units gain no benefit in holding take and hold objectives.
So the idea
It wouldn't have mattered in our game. We're playing 2 gun lines, man.
Exactly. So anyway, I thought it might be a bit more cinematic because it kind of forces you into your opponent's deployment zone to try and knock them out.
Yeah. So, but that's where mission 1 isn't like that at all. Though. That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So, like different lists will have strengths depending on the mission. So I liked that they were different. I think it was cool.
Yeah, I like this mission more now.
So in mission 2, I played against Phil. Obviously, the same list that we were just talking about because it's the same day.
And what kind of secondaries were you guys choosing?
I chose.
So yeah, what our
I did Headhunter, Kingslayer, and Big Game Hunter against you.
Yeah,
and I think
I
you
have
did the
so many
exact
vehicles.
same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had 3. Guys, we both had 3 characters. We both had a ton of vehicles, and we both had
I think I took Linebreaker against you.
Oh,
'cause
yes.
I had the drop pod.
Oh, yes, you did take Linebreaker.
In my game, Phil took the table quarters, I think Headhunter and Big Game Hunter, and I took Kingslayer, Reaper, and some other thing.
Yep. So in our game 2, me and Paul, I took killing heavy armor, anything with more than 10 wounds.
10 or more.
I took table quarters because I was more mobile than you.
Yeah.
With the drop pod and the tanks are still fast. Like even though they want to be static, they're still fast if they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I took table quarters and I think I took Linebreaker in that one too.
Yeah, and I think I did Big
Because
Game.
the drop pod will get it.
I did Big Game quarters and something else.
I actually love the idea of drop pods in these missions, just for like, especially table quarters, because you actually have to hold, because you can only score 4 points on the secondaries.
Yep.
And and for table quarters, you have to be in each quarter for a whole turn, or like for a turn. So like having 4 drop pods just going like they could just be empty, like just put them in 4 corners and like.
It's still like 400 points though.
I don't know.
This
in
list,
my brain, it sounded fun.
This list is the only list I've ever played with a drop pod, and it's just the one, and it has 10 tack marines in it.
Yeah,
Dude, it works.
They're decent. Actually,
Putting the
I'm liking
2 min squads of tax in a drop pod is
so
With plasma.
So it's 2 minimum 5-man squads, each with a plasma and a combat plasma. So it's 4 plasmas in drop pod. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
They do work.
So yeah, I played Phil. The Fire Raptor didn't die first turn. And when it doesn't die first turn, it goes to work. Made the mistake of firing las cannons at Mortarion. I completely forgot about the Death Shroud.
Oh no.
Oh, so they just took all the hits.
So they just took all the hits, and then I was like, Fire Raptor, go! And I fired the Avenger Mega Bolter first. Wiped out the Death Shroud because it's strength 6, AP negative 2, 2 damage. Just 10 shots, so just mowed them down.
They have 3 wounds or 2 wounds?
2 wounds. Las Cannon took a few off Mortarion, not a lot. Demon Prince and Helldrake got up, started just messing around with his lines. Havoc started picking off wounds off of the Blight drones and Mortarion. Then I did a sneaky move where my Demon Prince was able to consolidate into Mortarion
Nice.
and pull him into combat, so he couldn't charge my lines the next turn.
Survive the combat though? Like how'd that go?
He did survive it. He got down to 1 wound.
That's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah. Well, he was dead either way, right? Because it was
for
like
sure.
my Demon Prince with full wounds in the middle of his lines. He had just killed a bunch of spawn. He charged into a squad of spawn and murdered them all.
Yeah.
Spawn are good.
Yeah, so I didn't want them in my lines. Then just piled into Mortarion, survived Mortarion with 1 wound left. And the Mortarion couldn't charge the next turn. My Sorcerer got Death Hex off on Mortarion, stripped him of his invulnerable save, and then hammered him with 12 las cannons, and he died.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
That's like
How many 5-ups can you make?
Yeah, and then it was the rest of the game was just cleaning up. It was honestly just the Fire Raptor just being like, everything at those Poxwalkers. Okay.
everything at those
And
Poxwalkers.
it took the full 6 turns of the
How many Poxwalkers did he have?
40
Okay.
of just
I thought he. Oh yeah,
That's
Yeah.
44.
Was he doing the comeback from the dead stuff? Like where you add Poxwalkers?
he never got the chance.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's combat.
Yeah, he never got the chance to do that. But those bloat drones are annoying. They got into my lines, started killing havocs and noise marines. Oh
That's what they're for.
yeah, they're really good. It was a good list. Yeah, just beat them on points. None of us ever even got close to holding the other person's take a hold and hold objective. Because
So-
flyers can't hold objectives.
So what I'm
right?
hearing are there's 2 tightly contested, pretty action-packed games. Just didn't like having to score the points.
The tertiary points.
Tertiary.
Yeah.
I like this. I like that you get to choose your secondaries. I think it's like a really fun tactical thing that you get to switch every game.
Yeah.
You're like, can my list do this against this list? Because against Phil's list, I took. No, it was against your list. Didn't I kill units of 10?
Oh, you did,
You had
yeah.
the cultists and you had the
yeah.
2 noise marine squads.
you did take
So like,
that.
and then against Paul's list, he doesn't have.
There's no.
There's 9 stern guard and 5 scouts. So like, I'm not taking that obviously. So yeah, it's cool. Like it shifts. I like that. It's fun.
Yeah, I liked the end of player turn scoring. I don't know. That's the only thing that
So
really.
you would rather
turned me
go
off.
one or the other. Okay, cool.
But
So what about
just the extra step of additional bookkeeping? I think was like
Yeah.
just too much.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
having the sheets would help, but
Yeah.
that's all right.
Well, Phil had the sheets with him, and he still made mistakes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And it's also your first time at the rodeo. I'm really curious to hear how the third mission in contrast went, aside from Nick.
So Paul and I were tired.
It was a long day. Because we weren't following like a 2.5 hour schedule.
No.
Because we were like learning the missions and testing
Sure,
them and talking.
yeah.
But like Maelstrom always goes, it's like draw some cards. Never gonna get that. Like that sucks. And then like Nick would just draw like, oh, I got this objective that I'm on. Like there's some points for me, and it just Maelstrom in a tournament for me doesn't fit. I can't in good conscience support it.
But here's the thing. Is that if you had been
I guess we explained what this one.
Yeah.
so this one was Eternal. This one was Eternal War and Maelstrom mixed together.
Yeah, so it's 6 objectives placed by the players before deployment is decided.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Maelstrom on top of that. The one where you get cards based on the objectives you're holding.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Paul, this is what I mean. So, if Maelstrom had not gone well for you, at the end of the game, if you had done well in terms of actually like fighting and not on objectives, each objective that you hold at the end of the game is worth 3 points.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Yeah, so it's like if you get bad cards but you hold objectives, you can balance it.
Yeah. No, and I agree. But it's just there's something about Maelstrom in a tournament setting that I don't like.
I do agree.
I think I wonder if it's worth because me and Phil played this way just because it's like a house rule. Maybe we shouldn't have because we were testing tournament stuff.
Paul and I played the same.
So maybe the clause should be in there. Like if you never could have achieved the card that you draw, redraw a new card.
Yeah, if the card during the course of the game, if the tactical objective that you draw was or will not be ever achievable,
No,
discard and redraw.
Yeah. If you can.
I don't think that's the right wording.
Yeah.
Because like
something like
if I kill your flyer,
Yeah.
before I draw the flyer card, and then on another turn I draw the flyer card,
should
I
discard it.
have to keep it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you had it in your list.
You should be. That's why I said
Yeah.
was.
No,
Or
you should.
never.
No, you should. You should be able. You should discard that.
No,
if you
no,
can't,
no.
if you can no longer achieve it, it should.
But there was a
discard
chance of me drawing it earlier in the game and getting it
it. Sure.
because he had a flyer in his list. Where if I
You don't
drew it
see
against
that.
Paul, I would discard it immediately.
And then there's another annoying thing about Maelstrom. If that same idea, except it's the Kingslayer card, and you already killed the Warlord, you get the point for some reason.
but that
You
clause
get
is
3
built
points.
into the card.
I know, but we're building clauses to
Sure.
make it less stupid. I would always say, like, if you can't achieve it, at like it's just impossible to achieve. There are no flyers for me to kill
At this point in the game.
It should be a burn. I would also say that I think a good one would be there's actually a draw stratagem.
Yeah,
So
2 command points.
drop it to 1. It
Oh,
should
true.
It
Yeah.
should be 1.
yeah.
So and have both in play.
And that's discard and draw, right?
Yep. And it can, so that should I think both of those in play, and you'd be able to churn through your maelstrom a little bit.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because if you're holding 3 objectives, you draw 3 cards. You can't achieve one of them.
Yeah.
Ever. You get a free discard and draw, and then you can use a command point to burn a second one. Now all of a sudden you've drawn 5 cards.
I like it.
It's
That's
Elegant. That's an elegant. The 2 command points is way too high.
Playing these missions in Ottawa, I spent the 2 command points, and it saved my ass in the game.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I just find like with this mission in particular, as soon as you start losing, you're done.
Because you can't keep up on Maelstrom, and you're not keeping up on Maelstrom because you're losing the Eternal War.
And then you're not holding objectives because you're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
if you're not, and then if you're not holding objectives, you're not generating more objectives.
that's
cards,
why
yeah.
once we got down to turn 4, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, you're upset.
yeah. No, I wasn't upset. I was just like, this isn't.
Well, Paul upset.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I was like, let's go get like a beer.
Yeah, because I think in one turn I killed like your Land Raider, the aggressors, and something else.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's it.
Oh, all of your Devastators.
Yeah.
So,
And I was like, that's game.
Yeah.
in interest of time, I'm going to just take this bull by the horns, and I would love to hear, feedback. I'm not sure how I feel about the first missions, but overall, what would you guys feel is the most palatable for the stage of the Hogtown meta that we're in, which is building a new environment, something a little more familiar but different?
If we had a base of people who are used to these types of games, for sure, throw these at them. There's a lot of people who aren't used to this type of thing.
The first 2, I think, with like very minor tweaks, very very minor tweaks, amazing missions. Like
For a first go, too. Like
Yeah.
what Nick is saying, like if we do it this way this time, maybe next time we can throw in the tertiaries and throw in, like, make it.
So what would be the modifications you'd make?
I would.
I'm writing this down, guys.
I know you are. I appreciate that and your feedback. I don't know which, because I kind of like both the end of player turn, because I've always been a fan of end of player turn, and I like end of battle round. I just don't like them together.
yeah, that's the thing. That's in addition to.
And I know seem like I'm being a jerk about this.
No.
But do you not see my point about the second player's turn?
No, it's not the same. It's not the same because one
You only
person's
score it twice.
one person's scoring,
Yeah.
and then together you're scoring. So
Yeah.
you're having the conversation. I killed a unit. I'm on an objective. Now together,
I succeeded at these secondaries,
yeah.
and then the second person does the same thing at the end of their turn. And then the third action is we compare notes now. And
You don't
score
just
objectives a
remember
third
that?
time.
Like, I killed more guys than you did. Tick. You're on more objectives than me. Tick. Like, that's what it is. That's what we're talking about.
But it's that, like,
It's
2 minutes
literally
every
that.
turn or whatever.
That was 5 seconds. Visually done. I can see it. Anyway, I don't want to harp on it. Clearly, it's an issue. If this is the feedback I'm getting, I must be open to the feedback.
Yeah.
I'm resisting, and that's not
I would
cool.
be happy to like do another like playtest of these.
We're also, I don't know if you guys know, there's something called the SoCal app open. That these missions were basically produced for happening this weekend. The internet will be on fire with whether they're good or bad. So,
Nice. So we
and
can
probably
take
some
feedback.
good constructive feedback. That's hundreds of games going to be happening in a couple days. So
Yeah, and like
Our 4 were not. Our 3 were not that important.
no, and like
No,
the
but
thing
this is awesome.
We're also like
I also just like that you guys seem to really like them, and that's why I keep coming
fun.
back to the same point.
One of my favorite things to do in 7th was play Eternal War and Maelstrom at the same time in this style with the secondaries. Because, who used to do that YouTube channel? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But it's just mixing it. It's like, becomes more strategic. It makes the game more interesting than being like, we're playing the Relic, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was like, we're playing the Relic, and we're playing Maelstrom secondaries.
Yeah. Like, if I had to have guessed, I assumed, that's why I made you play 2 of the first one and 1 of the seconds. I assumed you guys would just be hands down third one. And that's kind of, it may have just been a failure to
Maelstrom, sometimes they go well, sometimes it's a blowout based on cards. I don't really like seeing that in a tournament thing.
Yeah, it gives a lot of opportunity for people to have salt. You know,
That was it. The old ITC ones where it was like a D3 chart where it'd be like
Yeah, no, you'd roll 3d6,
right.
and then you would.
Oh
pick
yeah, it was
two.
like yeah.
Yeah. So it was supposed to be like inspired by Maelstrom.
Yeah.
But you controlled the randomness.
Those were the secondaries.
Yeah, because it does come down to the pure randomness of the draw of the cards. Yeah. Which there's a random element in a dice game.
But this one is like, it's not like, all right, to win this you have to roll a 6 just to get it.
It's like being dealt a bad hand in
You
poker.
build a list to mitigate the randomness of the dice, where the cards you just draw cards and they're all random.
Or you build something that can do everything in a Maelstrom deck.
Yeah,
That's why Eldar was so bloody good.
Yes, we know.
They could be anywhere and kill anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Anyway.
I just think like, I don't want to throw baby out with the bathwater. I just have gone on record a lot of times being like, I don't like Maelstrom. It just doesn't. It feels wacky to me.
Drunken Commander.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess I want objective 3. Actually, you know what? Objective 5 was the best.
Yeah. But it's like, you draw the card and you're like, hold objective 2, and you're like, oh, Phil has 40 Poxwalkers on it on the other side of the map.
Yeah,
that's
and
a
then
dead card.
he draws
Forever.
one, and it's like, hold objective 2, enjoy that one. Or like one I got was priority orders received. So now it's like, draw next one, and only your warlord can achieve that. So it's like, okay. And
What was it? Was it Kill a Flyer?
Yeah. No, it was assassination. So it was like, you have to kill something.
Your warlord, who's a support character and sits in the back of the board, is now running up to murder a demon prince.
Yeah. So like, I was already like a little bit like, okay, whatever. I can deal with like trying to get these Maelstrom cards. And I drew one where it was like, Maelstrom's harder for you for a second. And I was like, oh, just this one draw. And I was only drawing one because I was only controlling one objective at that point. So it was just like, as soon as you're down in that mission, it feels like it's all over.
You can't come back from it, yeah.
Cool.
Well, you could. You just gotta be better than me. That's like a good note. To...
So I'd love to hear some feedback from the thing that you mentioned that's going on this weekend, and do a revamp of the missions and try them out.
Yeah, because we were all in the same room giving our feedback, so eventually it's just gonna get homogenous.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I wish you
really-
could have been there.
I don't want to do fun time. I'm tired.
This is no more fun time. This
fun allowed.
This was the tournament episode. It's
Yeah.
no fun.
There's no
Only comp.
only cop.
My comp?
No,
It is your comp.
You did.
That's true.
It's
Design
your comp. Don't do it.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, guys, assemble your own fun today. It's really late.
Yeah, tell egg puns, comp puns, dad jokes. Tell us a dad joke.
Oh,
There we go.
No.
Fun time, dad joke.
I feel like dad jokes are reactionary.
No.
Yeah, and also like every joke that just came to the top of my head was like not good for any
Children.
Yeah,
Which is what dad jokes are supposed to be.
exactly.
On that fine note, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, you're playing in the tournament too, so
I will be.
Don't design these missions for the army that you've already designed for these missions.
Well, we just give the missions out.
Everyone will be designing for the mission.
But here's the thing: is if we're going to do that, we need to get these out as soon as possible.
Listen, Stress Cadet Captain.
Yeah.
We know. We just spent like an hour talking about
All
it.
right, first off, Stress Cadet Captain is evidence that you are tired and you need to get tucked into bed,
I
sir.
need to blow my nose harder than I've ever blown it before.
It's been like 2 hours of just dabbing.
I know his face is.
I have 3 soaking wet toilet paper clubs. I need to go home.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.